I know exactly who you are thinking about. The person who irritates your soul. The one who gets under your skin like no one else. Maybe it's their voice, their face, or just the way they walk into a room. It feels like they are toxic, right? It feels justified to hate them. But what if I told you that everything you hate about them is actually a missing piece of your own Yule? What if your enemy is actually your savior? Biologically, your brain is playing a trick on you. You think you are looking out a window at a villain. But Carl Jung discovered the terrifying truth. You are looking into a mirror. This is called shadow projection. And in this video, we are going to expose why the person you despise most is the only key to unlocking your true potential, and why, if you keep hating them, you will remain incomplete forever. Part 1. The anatomy of the mirror. You tell yourself a comforting story to sleep at night. You say, I despise them because they are immoral. I despise them because I have standards. But let's be honest for a second. I want you to pause and observe what happens to your body when you think of them. Notice the tightening in your chest, the slight acceleration of your heartbeat, the way your jaw instinctively clenches. You spend hours having imaginary arguments with them, destroying them with perfect logic that you will never speak aloud. You check their social media profiles, not out of love, but out of a compulsion to feed your own disgust. You drink the poison of your own anger and wait for them to die. You tell yourself a comforting story to justify this obsession. You say, I despise them because they are objectively immoral. I despise them because I have standards and they do not. It feels like a righteous stance. It feels like you are the guardian of virtue, standing against their chaos. But let's be brutally honest for a moment. Let's dissect that logic with the cold scalpel of analytical psychology. The world is drowning in objectively bad people. Right now, as you listen to this, there are dictators starving their populations. There are cartels dissolving bodies in acid. There are thieves stealing pensions from the elderly. The news is a 24-hour conveyor belt of human atrocity. But be honest, you don't lose sleep over them. You don't obsess over the dictator in a country you've never visited. You don't feel a visceral, personal knot in your stomach when you hear about a corrupt banker you've never met. To you, those people are just concepts. They are distant statistics. They are evil, yes, but they are an abstract evil. They do not trigger your nervous system. So, why this specific person? Why does their specific brand of arrogance, their particular selfishness, or their unique way of demanding attention penetrate your defenses so effortlessly? Why does it feel personal? The answer is the first terrifying key to the architecture of your hatred. It is not because they are strangers. It is because they are familiar. To understand this, we must descend into the mechanics of the psyche, as mapped by Carl Jung. Jung did not view the personality as a random collection of habits. He viewed it as a closed electrical system, governed by the law of conservation of energy. Energy within the human psyche cannot be destroyed. It can only be displaced. Imagine for a moment the vastness of your potential when you were born. You were a creature of pure instinct. You had the potential for infinite kindness, but also for infinite aggression. You had the capacity for silence, but also for chaotic noise. You had the drive to serve, but also the primal will to dominate. But then, civilization happened. Your parents, your teachers, your culture, and your religion handed you a script. They told you what was acceptable and what was forbidden. They told you, don't be selfish, don't be loud, don't be angry, don't be proud. So what happened to those parts of you? What happened to your aggression? What happened to your selfishness? What happened to your desire for power? Did they vanish? Did they evaporate because you were told they were bad? No. Psychic energy cannot disappear. Instead, You performed an act of psychological amputation. You took those forbidden traits and you shoved them into the basement of your subconscious. You locked them in the dark, and you built a heavy iron door called the persona, your facial mask, to keep them hidden. You forgot about them. You convinced yourself that you are just a nice person. But those traits didn't die. They are down there in the dark, stirring, pacing and waiting. They became the shadow. And the shadow has one desperate desire: to be seen, to be lived. This is where the mirror mechanism activates. The shadow acts like a movie projector. It cannot come out through you, so it looks for a screen in the outside world. It scans the people around you, looking for a hook, someone who is openly living the very trait you have murdered in yourself. And when you find that person, the reaction is chemical. When you see that coworker interrupting people, your conscious mind thinks they are rude. But your unconscious mind screams, they are doing it. They are taking up space. They are asserting dominance. The very thing I want to do but am too terrified to try. Your hatred is not a judgment of their character. It is a recognition of your own exile. The emotional explosion you feel, that burning, obsessive irritation, is the sound of your own repressed potential banging on the basement door, demanding to be let out. You are not angry at them for being bad. You are furious because they are the living, breathing, walking reminder of the life you were too afraid to live. They are the actors playing the role you turned down, and they are getting the applause, or at least the attention, that your shadow craves. This is the first truth. We do not hate what is alien to us. We only hate what we have stolen from ourselves. Part 2. The Golden Shadow and the Lie of Morality. This brings us to the second, and perhaps the most devastating layer of the architecture of hatred. Up until now, we have assumed that the shadow contains only the dark, ugly, and socially unacceptable parts of your nature. The murderer, the traitor, the sadist, the glutton. It is easy to accept that we project these things. It is easy to say, I hate that liar, because I am afraid of my own capacity to lie. But there is a far more dangerous secret hidden in the basement of your psyche. Psychology calls it the golden shadow. You do not just repress your darkness. You also repress your light. You repress your greatness. You repress your capacity for brilliance, for leadership, and for terrifying competency. And this is where Friedrich Nietzsche enters the room with a sledgehammer to shatter your ego. Nietzsche described a specific, poisonous frequency of hatred called ressentiment. It is not simple anger. It is the specific, simmering hatred that the weak feel towards the strong. But the human ego is a fragile construct. It cannot survive the truth. The ego cannot look in the mirror and say, I hate them because they are stronger than me. I hate them because they are brave and I am a coward. That realization would be psychic suicide. So your mind performs a brilliant, deceptive act of alchemy. It converts your envy into moral superiority. It looks at the strength of your enemy, relabels it as evil, and then labels your own weakness as good. Let's slow down and dissect this mechanism, because it is likely running your life right now without your permission. Look at the person you despise again. Really look at the traits you claim to hate. Strip away the story you've told yourself and look at the raw energy they are displaying. You say you hate their arrogance. You tell your friends they are so full of themselves, they think they are better than everyone. But is it possible? Is it just possible that what you are actually seeing is an apologetic confidence? Are you looking at someone who does not need permission to exist? Someone who does not apologize for taking up space? And does that burn you because you have spent your entire life shrinking yourself to make others comfortable? You say you hate their selfishness. You say they only care about themselves. They are narcissists. But look closer. Are you actually reacting to their ability to self-prioritize? Are you watching someone who knows how to set boundaries? Someone who can say no without drowning in guilt? You who say yes to every request? You who burn yourself out to please people who don't care about you? You look at their selfishness and you call it evil, but your soul recognizes it as survival. You say you hate their ruthlessness, but are you secretly starving for their drive? Their willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed? Their refusal to let empathy become an obstacle to their mission? You see, you have amputated these parts of your soul. You have cut off your own power, your own voice, and your own ambition, and you have placed them in a cage labeled sin. And now, when you see someone else walking around with those traits, unlocked and free, you don't just feel hate. You feel loss. You feel the crushing grief of your own unlived potential. But to admit that would be painful. To admit that would mean you are the one who is lacking. So instead, you take the easy way out. You take the moral high ground. You tell yourself, I am not weak, I am good. And they are not strong. They are evil. This is the most dangerous lie a human being can tell. Because the moment you label your own potential as evil, just to feel morally superior to someone else, you have signed a contract to remain small forever. You are using your morality as a shield to hide your inadequacy. You are wearing your weakness like a crown of virtue, the psychic hemorrhage. Now let's look at the cost. Because this obsession is not free, it is costing you something irreplaceable. Hating someone is expensive. It is biologically, neurologically, and spiritually expensive. Every time you scroll through their social media profile, looking for something to criticize. Every time you gather with friends to gossip about how terrible they are. Every time you replay an argument in your head while you are trying to sleep. You are engaging in a psychic hemorrhage. You are bleeding energy. You are taking your limited life force, the energy you could use to build your empire, to create art, to love your family, to heal your body, and you are donating it to them. You are writing them a blank check of your attention. Think about the absurdity of this. You claim to hate this person. You claim they are the villain of your story. And yet you are their most devoted worshiper. You keep them alive in your mind. You let them live rent-free in your consciousness. You build a shrine to them in your thoughts, and you visit it every day to offer your anger as a sacrifice in a very real way. You are feeding them. Because in the economy of the psyche, attention is currency, and whatever you focus on grows. By obsessing over their shadow traits, you are feeding those traits within yourself, not with the light of integration, but with the poison of resentment. You are caught in a psychic civil war. One half of you is desperate to be powerful, and the other half is busy judging power as evil. You are fighting against yourself, exhausting yourself, tearing yourself apart, while the person you hate goes on with their life, eating their dinner, sleeping soundly, completely unaware of your suffering. They are not destroyed by your hatred. You are. Your hatred is not a weapon you are holding against them. It is a cup of poison you are drinking, hoping they will deal. This is the definition of wasting your life. Not because you are laissez-faire, not because you are unlucky, but because you are funneling your divine potential into a black hole of projection. So the question is no longer, why are they so terrible? The question is, how much longer are you willing to bleed? Part 3. The Alchemy of the Soul, the Ultimate Cure. So, we have arrived at the most critical moment. You now understand the diagnosis. You know that your hatred is a mirror. But understanding is not enough. Knowing the theory of swimming won't save you from drowning. You need to know how to swim. You are probably asking, okay, I see myself in them. But what do I do now? How do I stop this pain? The world will tell you to forgive and let go. But I am telling you, do not let it go. Transform it. Carl Jung called this process alchemy. Just as alchemists tried to turn lead into gold, your task is to turn your heavy, toxic hatred into golden life energy. Here is the exact step-by-step protocol to heal your soul. Step 1. The pause, breaking the trance. The next time that person triggers you, when you see their post, hear their voice, or remember their face, and you feel that rush of anger, stop. Do not react. Do not vent to a friend. Do not type a nasty comment. Sit with the fire, close your eyes, and feel where that anger lives in your body. Is it in your chest, your throat, your stomach? That sensation is not hate. It is energy. It is raw, unshaped potential that is out in your body. Say to yourself, this feeling is not about them. This is mine. This is my lost power coming home. Step 2. The extraction, separating the poison from the medicine. This is the hardest part. You must look at the person you despise and separate their toxicity from their power. Think of it like snake venom. In its raw form, it kills. But if you refine it, it becomes life-saving medicine. Let's look at your enemies again, with new eyes. Do you hate their arrogance? Strip away the nastiness. What is underneath? Underneath the arrogance is unapologetic confidence. It is the ability to walk into a room and feel worthy without needing permission. That is the medicine you need. You are starving for self-worth. You need to stop apologizing for your existence. Do you hate their selfishness? Strip away the cruelty. What is underneath? It is self-preservation. It is the ability to say no to others so you can say yes to yourself. That is the medicine. You have become a martyr. You give until you bleed. You need to learn how to protect your energy. Do you hate their attention-seeking? Strip away the vanity. What is underneath? It is the desire to be seen, to be heard, to shine. That is the medicine. You have been hiding in the shadows for too long, afraid of judgment. Your soul wants to be seen. Step 3. The integration, drinking the medicine. Now you must perform the act of integration. You don't need to become the person you hate. You don't need to become cruel or arrogant. But you must steal their fire. Make a pact with your shadow today. Say this: I will no longer judge power as evil. I will claim it for myself. I will no longer judge self-care as selfish. I will practice it. I will no longer judge ambition as greed. I will pursue my purpose. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The person you hated, they stop mattering. They lose their power over you. Why? Because they have nothing left to show you. You have taken the message, opened it, and used it. They become just another person. The emotional cord is cut. You are free. The journey of life is not about becoming good. Society wants you to be good, harmless, quiet, and obedient. But your soul wants you to be whole. Wholeness means you are capable of everything. You are capable of kindness, but also of setting boundaries. You are capable of silence, but also of roaring when necessary. You are capable of love, but also of fighting for what is yours. If you are seeing enemies everywhere, it is because you are fractured. The world is just a screen projecting your own broken pieces back at you. But today, you can decide to pick up those pieces. So, for the last time, stop watching them. Stop obsessing over them. Stop judging them. Turn your gaze inward. The monster you fear is not out there, and the hero you have been waiting for is not out there either. It's all in the mirror. It's all you. If you are still watching, you aren't here for entertainment. You are here for the truth. Most people sleepwalk through life. Subscribe. And let's wake up together. Now that you have reclaimed your energy, you must learn where to direct it. The cure for your emptiness is in this video. Click here. It is the next step.